here, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Anybody from those areas? Okay. I want to emphasize one thing very strongly. If all of you are the press in this room, then you comprise the convention in yourself. And we just can't get everybody down that floor.
Let me tell you, there are over 500 media from all over the world here. We did not expect it. We are overjoyed, but we cannot physically handle that in a manner that would not interfere with the orderly running of the delegations. And as you must know, we are most concerned that nothing interfere with the orderly running of those delegations, particularly since there is so much media to witness how we take care of our business.
This afternoon, poised as we are at the beginning of this historic convention, that we, in order to understand where we are going, must probe our bitter past where we have been. This is not the first time blacks have assembled to chart their political course. 1855, 1871, 1872. These were years in which national black political conventions met in New York, Columbia, South Carolina, and in New Orleans. Now, some of the white news media has criticized us for calling this convention and welcoming all of our brothers and sisters. But we shall determine who comes to this convention, not the white news media. And I want to say here and now that all black people are welcome, the thousands, and that includes Bobby Seale and Angela Davis. I just want to tell you this afternoon that the 1968 National Party Convention made a mockery of the democratic process. They were drunken carnivals run for the exclusive few. They debauched the electoral process and they shattered the idealistic hopes of youth. Before critical decisions are made, they must be discussed by all of us in every nook and cranny of this country, from the tar paper shacks in the Mississippi Delta to the pine hovels in the Appalachian Hills, from the rank basement apartments of 47th Street in Chicago to the barrios of Spanish Harlem in New York. We all must participate in those decisions. We demand that any party which asks our support acknowledge the inhumanity every black man, woman, and child faces in 100 different ways each and every day of his existence up and down the width and breadth of this land. We demand the eradication of heroin from the ghetto, now eating away at the vitals of black youth. know that white society would never tolerate it in such epidemic proportions in suburbia, and we will not tolerate it in the ghetto.
Roughly 10,000 people have congregated here in Gary this weekend of weekends. 10,000 brothers and sisters from almost every state of this former Indian territory. They have come with one purpose in mind, and that purpose has eluded our people ever since we left the distant shores of Africa. That purpose is to unite all the segments that go to make up the thing we call Black America. This has been the central task of our beloved martyrs. It is a task that we have finally accomplished here in Gary.
Those of us already disenchanted with the political system could conceivably turn to other tactics, shattering the quiet routine of daily life in this country. Those of us still committed to a political solution might then decide to form a new party movement. But whatever, I think all of us are saying this afternoon that if the two major parties in this country fail us and reject us once again in 1972, then they must accept the consequences of that act. And when and if they leave us no choice, and if we form a third political movement, we shall take with us the Chicanos, the Puerto Ricans, the Indians, the Orientals, a wonderful kaleidoscope of colors. And I want to say to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, that is not all that we shall take with us. We shall also take with us the best of white America. We shall take with us many a white youth nauseated by the corrupt values rotting the innards of this society. We shall take with us many of the white poor who have nothing to lose but the poverty which binds them. We shall take with us many of the white GIs, ex-GIs, who dares to say never again. Yes, and many of the white working class too. Now, this convention can make history. Whether it does depends upon what we do here today. We must emerge from this convention with an independent national black political agenda, a dynamic program for black liberation that in the process will liberate all America from its current decadence. Finally, and this is so central to everything that black people are about. Dr. King told us about this first. Finally, we shall shun like the plague any political party which does not demand in unmistakable terms the immediate return to these shores of every single American boy from the distant Southeast Asian land. Our participation in that atrocious war is not an unfortunate mistake on the part of the American ruling class. Rather, it is part and parcel of an economic policy to make the world safe, not for democracy, but for American corporate penetration and to fill the coffers of corporate treasury. We shall never forget the massive support that a racist American government and the American corporations have extended to the white barbarians who reign in the Union of South Africa and Angola, Rhodesia. I believe that the 70s will be the decade of an independent black political thrust. Its destiny will depend upon us here at Gary this afternoon. How shall we respond? Will we walk in unity or disperse in 1,000 different directions? Will we stand for principle or settle for a mess of pottage? Will we maintain our integrity or will we succumb to the man's temptation? Will we act like free black men or like timid, shivering chattel? Will we do what must be done? These are the questions confronting this convention, and we, you and I, are the only ones that can answer them, and history will be the judge. Thank you.
Story continues. It is an old story, one that started along the Nile Valley thousands of years ago. It is a story of triumph and tragedy, of dark ages and golden ages, of freedom and slavery. Out of the long winter night of our oppression in America, we are witnessing the birth of a new golden age for our people. Did this age begin in Selma or Harlem, Gettysburg or Watts, with Crispus Attucks or Angela Davis? In the years to come, some may say it began in Gary, Indiana, at the National Black Political Convention held on March 10, 1972. Some will say that that was the time when we as a people seriously began to confront the basic issues surrounding our centuries-long oppression in America.
Thank you. Convention will come to order. Now you know why we came to Gary.
We have had many black conferences before, but a most important thing happened here in Gary, Indiana. For the first time in black political history, black people were able to combine two distinctly different kinds of political power. The power of the ballot box and the power of protest groups. The mobilizing of these two forces here in Gary in this spring of 1972 has greatly increased the political effectiveness of the black community.
Could you comment on the nature of the struggle as it stands now in Mozambique and Angola, and tell us something about what the spirit of the brothers who are engaged in that struggle?
The people in Mozambique and the people in Angola and the people in Guinea-Bissau and Zimbabwe have made a decision that the only way that they're going to get their freedom is through armed struggle, so that the brothers that I was with inside of Mozambique were in fact carrying out this armed struggle. Now, I was very pleased with the morale, of the guerrilla fighters in Mozambique. And I was very impressed with the type of struggle that they're carrying out. I was very impressed with their relationship to the peasants inside of Mozambique. And most of all, the commitment that they have to the struggle for our people.
Benjamin Franklin said, those who seek temporary security rather than basic liberty deserve neither. Brothers have to understand that. That those who seek temporary security rather than basic liberty deserve neither. I'm demanding reparations. That's all I can see now. That's the answer for our people. And this document tells you why the man owes you reparations. Here, honey, you want reparations? Take it. This is reparations. This is how you've been injured. This is how you've been destroyed. You was changed from an African into a Negro. You've been damaged, injured you, took your name, took your color. I don't have my pretty black color no more. I want an afro. I can't even wear one. The man done messed it up. You understand? Or maybe you don't. Maybe I know your name is Jones or Johnson or Williams, huh? And you know darn well that you have no business with English names. You don't think that's an injury. That's where your consciousness, then he killed your consciousness. You got to charge him for that, too.
The only way that you can really introduce the person who is going to introduce Jesse Jackson is to just say, here she comes, Sister Betty. Betty Shabazz, the widow of Malcolm X.
Here. When I walked through the doors, I felt good. But then I said, it's not about feeling good. Too many people have their eyes on Gary today. Not just in the United States, but all over the world. We have had in the past various leaders, but we must today focus our attention on one that's in our midst. He's a motivating force for a lot of black people. He is an inspiration. He's original in a lot of his thoughts. He gets results. His thought is here, and his action is here. A lot of us have our thought here and our action here. But with this leader, they have merged. What else can I say but introduce to you one of the most dynamic leaders today, Jesse Jackson, National President of PUSH.
And so the strong men keep getting stronger. The days of silence are over. For each and every murdered martyr, 500,000 strong men and women take their place. Here is one.
Brothers and sisters, today as we gather on this Saturday, March 11th in Gary, Indiana, 24 million black people have been ratified as a new colossus of power in world history. At this historical National Black Political Convention, for many of us here, black politics is a new baby for the masses of black people. Brother Hatcher came up north and got a house in Gary and said to all of the scattered children in the various black tribes across the nation, come home. I know my home is too small, brothers and sisters, but it's home. Come home. We would have gone to New York, but we didn't have a home there. We would have gone to California, but we didn't have a home there. Over in this little smoke-filled small city called Gary, one of our black brothers said, tribes, come home. The tribe in Mississippi does not know the tribe in California. Tribe in New York does not know the tribe in Georgia. And now that Brother Hatcher and Barack and Diggs have called the tribes home, the challenge of our coming together is so great until nobody has the right to rob the family of this opportunity to organize political power. As we go about the business of outlining national priorities here today in this United States of America, built by the dehumanizing institution of slavery, built on the tortured muscles of our forebears, the African diaspora has trumpeted its summons to all of the tribes with a question put forth by Brother Baraka, whose answer alone legitimatizes our collective existence. Brothers and sisters, what time is it? It's nation time. It's nation time for all of the tribes from Boston to Birmingham, Mississippi to Minnesota, San Diego to Seattle, and Galveston to Gary. What time is it? For 13 black congressmen, 1 U.S. senator, 81 black mayors, 677 black school board members, 873 black elected officials in 11 southern states, 2,000 black elected and appointed officials in legislatures and government. What time is it? For 7,500,000 registered black voters, 6 million unregistered black voters. What time is it? For black Democrats, black Republicans, black Panthers, black Muslims, black independents, black laborers, black businessmen, black professionals, black mothers on welfare. What time is it? Black is our common denominator. Brother Malcolm X said on more occasions than one, we saw ourselves as house slaves, field slaves, and yard slaves. Only when we recognized our common denominator was slavery and that our numerators didn't make any difference could we come together and begin to break it up. I don't want to be the gray shadow of the white elephant of one party. I don't want to be a part of the gray shadow of the white donkey. I am 21. It is 72. I am a black man. I want a black party. I do not trust white Republicans or white Democrats. Other ethnic groups cultivated politics. They developed the skills of political manipulation. We've been busy buying more records and books and dancing away our lives. We're not going to take over this nation drunk or on dope. We must be sober. We got to know what's going down. It is bad. It is real bad to be in a slum, but it's far worse to have that slum in you. There must. A lot of us running around talking about genocide, but before the man can get to us, black on black killing is fratricide. That is when the slum has gotten in us. When we snatch our own black women's pocketbooks, the slum is in us. When we run down black folks and run from white folks, the slum is in us. You ain't gonna get no slum out you by drinking no chlorophyll neither. You got to clean off your mind. It ain't your breath, it is your thought patterns. Let us clean up our minds. It was only 4 years ago in Memphis, Tennessee, where a black southern city with a 38% black population gave only 12% of that vote to a black man, A.W. Willis. Brother Willis, in his own profound way, said, I I see what the problem is. We need more than a voter bill. He said, I see what the situation is. We need more than civil rights. The black man has been taught to be inferior. He thinks the white man's ice is colder, thinks his sugar is sweeter, thinks his medicine is better. We got to clean off our minds. We got to put our minds inside our bodies. If your body is here and your mind is in some white camp, you are a schizophrenic. Check out your mind. While white people are having white conventions, they are not preoccupied with the ghetto. While black people are having black conventions, we shouldn't be preoccupied with the suburbs. Let us deal with our own self-business. Let us deal with the facts of the matter. If the 22 million, the 25 million black Americans constituted a distinct nation, this Afro-American population would be the 26th largest nation in the world. We would be the third largest black nation in the world, third only to Nigeria and Ethiopia. With our $35 billion, we would be the richest black nation on earth, 15th richest nation in the globe. Check out our minds. We are not here to deal with white attitudes. We are here to deal with economic conduct. We ain't talking so much about right and wrong, good and evil, sin and salvation. We're talking about profit, loss, asset, liability, short-term, long-term. Economics is the issue. As a result of 1964 and Dr. King and others, we got our civil rights. As a result of the Selma movement, we're beginning to get our civil power. But now we find ourselves with the right to move in any neighborhood in America, and we can't pay the note. We have the right to go to any school in America. We can't pay the tuition. We got the right to buy any car in America, but we can't stop it from being repossessed. We are not arguing about our constitutionality. We are raising a basic question: when will we get paid for the work we have already done? Some of us are getting a little excited about the fact that now we got 13 black congressmen. That is only 3% of what we're supposed to have. We are supposed to have 52 black congressmen. We got a long ways to go. In this coming year, when the debate of this convention will be over, when the philosophy will be over, when our favorite outfit will have been modeled, this year there will be possibly a black congressman or woman from Atlanta, Boston, Houston, Los Angeles, and Chapel Hill. And the question is, if there stands a chance to get 5 or 10 more black congressmen, will we leave here working or will we leave here debating? We must understand quantitative politics, but we must also understand qualitative politics. When the speeches are over, the question is your next door neighbor registered? Can you deliver your block? Can you deliver your ward? Can you deliver your district? Will you put your body where your ideals are? look at Imam Baraka and Congressman Diggs, and I look at John Conyers and Tyron Mitchell, you look at Carl Stokes, we got the mind, except our problem is not that we got too much ego. That ain't the problem. Some of us been discussing we got too much ego. We don't even understand the ego as it relates to the id and the super ego. Fact of the matter is, we are sitting here, we ain't got enough ego. We are willing, even those who recognize that ego is confident. We sit here with healthy black bodies. We sit here with developed black minds. And yet, where's our ego? It ain't there. When we jam each other, that ain't ego, that is abuse. When you sit here with your healthy black body, sit here with your developed black mind, and then put your confidence, put your creativity, put your belief in somebody else who is less intelligent than you to represent you, your ego has been castrated. You need an ego. What time is it? Point two, we must implement the doctrine of black parity. Everywhere there is a black population, we must have our minimum percentage of jobs. Many of us have sold out too cheap because we couldn't even count. The fact is, we are one. I want y'all to get this fact, Democrats. We are one of every 5 national Democratic votes. That means that we are due 20% of that party. What does that mean? 20% of the judges, of the generals, of the admirals, 20% of the Treasury Department, the Labor Department, the Commerce Department, the Office of Management and Budget. We got to learn how to count. Lastly, brothers and sisters, I don't care how much confusion we have here today. This is a beautiful occasion when the baby is going to be born. Everybody gets scared. I know a lot of you are a little jumpy. Yeah. Your white folks are waiting for you to call them on the phone. One thing about this fight is that these black leaders who called us together, they did not originate an idea. They innovated an idea that has evolved as a result of our growing black consciousness. Therefore, we are pregnant. We are ready for change. And whether a doctor is there or not, the water has broke, the blood has spilled, a new black baby is going to be born. We left this place today, we would be derelict because we know who our parents are. We look at Muhammad Ali, Mahmoud Baraka, and Ralph Abernathy, and Angela Davis, and Minister Farrakhan, and Nikki Giovanni, Charles Hurst, Roy Wilkins, Roy Ennis, Queen Mother, Preston Wilcox. We know who our parents are. Their baby has now been born. We are grown. We ain't taking it no more. No more yes to boss. No more bowing and scraping. We are 25 million strong. Cut us in or cut it out. It is a new ball game. There is a bomb in Gary today. That bomb lifts my black family above the crucifixion by white racism, to live in the splendor of love and the comfort of mercy. There is a bomb that reaches down into the windows of my soul and assures me that one day black men will sit in seats of power, rule with a sense of compassionate love. There is a bomb in Gary today, in Newark, in Fayette, in Richmond, in Pontiac, in Jackson, from the ashes of race hate, from corruption and economic decadence. There is a bomb today. That bomb is strong medicine, right down to the earth, right down to the root. It will humanize white politics. There is a bomb. It will radicalize black politics. There is a bomb. We are a mighty nation. There is a bomb. In the name of Nat Turner, Sojourner Truth, Mary McLeod Bethune, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin King. What time is it? When we come together, what time is it? When we respect each other, what time is it? When we get ourselves confident, what time is it? When we form our own political party, what time is it?
Every murdered martyr, 500,000 have come to take their place, and our spirit remains unconquered.
This is the nature of change, that it must seem jagged and convulsed, but remain the smooth speed of universal wisdom. You will not weep for any weakness. You will be stronger another way, which is the real one, centuries ago, to see it develop like comfort on this foolish planet. You will not adjust. You will be just. The adjustive speed, turn, and the like. You will be like earth. Stay where we have fertile flowers, lovers, bright new black children. We love to be. Which is why we don't die. Because my mouth is wide with laughter, and my throat is deep with song. You do not think I suffer after I've held my pain so long. Because my mouth is wide with laughter, you do not hear my inner cry. Because my feet are gay with dancing, you do not know. die.
Our talented artists, our talented musicians, they all came, and through their art, they gave their heart. Through their art, we touched more than once the spirit of this Harold Day.
We are beautiful people with African imaginations, full of masks, dances, swelling chants, with African eyes and noses and arms. Though we sprawl in great chains in a place full of winters. And what we want is sun.
I tell you one thing, when this convention is over, the only thing I'll be sorry of that the Democrats and the Republicans wasn't here, so when they go back to get ready to run their convention this year, they could run it as mellow as we running ours, so it won't end up being like the last one they had. Yeah, dig it, baby. We can bring more radical black folks together in Gary than they can bring radical white folks together, and we don't have to spend no $400 million for the police. Me trying to tell you how much fun I'm having just being here. I ain't seen black folks this happy since 1956 when a pickup truck ran over Governor Waller's hound dog. All at once, what baffles me is so many white folks in America keep wondering about what's wrong with them. Niggas must be crazy. No, baby, understand one thing. Niggas got more sense today than ever before in the history of America. Yeah. And when niggas was basically crazy, that's when he thought we had good sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. When he running around goosing me in the rump, rubbing my head, look, come here, Jabbo. Yeah, that's the ball. When I was basically crazy, now we talking about getting our thing together and getting our sanity together, baby. That's what it's all about. And when I was crazy, he loved me. And once you get your mind together, baby, ain't nobody deal with you. That's what this convention is all about, getting our minds together. And when we leave here, it's going to be a different day.
When the history of the 20th century is written, one name will be etched indelibly in its fabric as perhaps the singularly most important man with the most important message for this, the most violent century in the history of mankind. That man is Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. We're privileged to have on the dais with us this afternoon his devoted wife, Mrs. Coretta Scott King. Michigan National Welfare Rights Organization and Congress of African People, we've decided that in order to move this agenda today, that we take the following steps, which I have been commissioned to read to you so that we can get into the body of it.
To the poet, playwright, and leader, Imamu Imiri Baraka, fell the heavy responsibility of supervising and coordinating the work of this three-day convention.
Point 2 was voted by that state body to bring back the caucus this morning, which is why you were caucusing until 12 o'clock, voted to accept the rules. Although, as I stated, we will not adhere slavishly to the so-called Robert's Rules of Order.
In his mind was carried the concerns, the problems, and resolutions of the various delegations.
It was also voted that we then move to accept resolutions.
In fact, he, Imamu Imiri Baraka, was the servant of the various delegations.
Alabama. Arizona.
From him came the sense of reason, the patience and leadership so crucial to the carrying out of the wishes of the 3,341 delegates.
California.
There was debate and there were roll calls. Roll calls on matters related to the overall direction of the convention and the future of black people in America.
Connecticut.
Working closely with the leadership of the various delegations, his spirit played a dominant role in the success of the convention. But the most dominant role was played by the delegates themselves, working always for unity.
We're going to vote. Only one more unreadiness which we will allow, and that is to hear what Michigan has to say, because we're going to call it vote.
A crucial test of our growing political maturity came in the middle of the final day of the convention. The dissenting Michigan delegation strongly opposed the convention accepting the black agenda as first presented to the delegates and championed by the New York delegation.
New York's motion is on the floor. Will you please, for the sake of clarity, say anything?
Because Michigan seems uncompromising in its position, the delegates feverishly worked behind the scenes to forestall a Michigan walkout. Their efforts were in vain. Michigan angrily walked out of the convention. As it turned out, only part of the Michigan delegation had walked out. Some remained behind to lend their energies to that historical force which is destined to become the heartbeat of Afro-American thought in these last moments of the 20th century. The force for unity, so evident in the delegates' call for nation time.
Can we call for the question? Let's move this. All in favor of adopting national black agenda as stipulated by the New York motion, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed? That Michigan has not walked out on the problem with many of us is for too long we have been used to dealing in Western politics. So we feel that if we lose a vote, that we must be permanently enemies. African consensus says that we have to stay until we agree, until we come to some kind of consensus.
The resolutions submitted and endorsed by the convention's delegates were many, for the grievances of our people are many. We are a summer people who have had to endure over 400 years of winter. The black agenda assumes that no truly basic change for our benefit takes place in black or white America unless we black people organize to initiate that change. It assumes that we must have some essential agreement on overall goals, even though we may differ on many specific strategies. If we are serious, the black politics of Gary must accept major responsibility for creating both the atmosphere and the program for fundamental, far-reaching change in America. Such responsibility is ours because it is our people who are most deeply hurt and ravaged by the present systems of society.
That we will register the vote. Revolution is not about just a simple, stupid desire to kill nobody. Revolution is about the right for humanity and black people in this country here and across the world to survive. Revolution is about your humanity. You are black and beautiful, and you are human beings. And this conference here, this convention here, is significant to it. It's significant to the survival of black humanity. And you, brothers and sisters, people, are the boss. You are the boss. When you tell us what you want, and what you need, and what you better have. All power to the people, power to black people. Thank you very much.
This means we recognize no differences between the political powerlessness in the Bantustans of South Africa and the Bantustans of America. Perhaps there is one difference, and it is the realization of the fact that because we are more materially comfortable in our style of enslavement, that we have a greater, graver obligation to combat oppression in America for the benefit of all black peoples everywhere. We will not accept the timid rationalizations of American policy any longer. In short, America has had a fundamental role in making African peoples of the world into the footstools of white Western civilization. It is time now to set the record straight, to say that black people in America understand that our African past is intimately bound up with our African future. It is time to say that the revolution which we seek in the nature of our relationship to Americans is ultimately reflected in the struggle between African and European peoples in the world. It is time now to sound the warning that no longer will the movement for justice and change in America stop at the water's edge. It has taken us an increased length of time to understand the real meaning of our African heritage, to teach us that the real Harambe means that we began to reach across the waters and work together on areas of a common survival agenda. That Umoja means that we intensify our knowledge of each other as family, organizations, and people. And that Uhuru implies the discipline to seize every opportunity to struggle for the freedom and dignity of our race.
The challenge is thrown to us here in Gary. The challenge is to transform ourselves from favor-seeking vassals and to take up the role that the organized masses of our people have attempted to play ever since we came to these shores. That of harbingers of true justice and humanity, leaders in the struggle for liberation.
We have survived long past. We're now putting out deeper roots, broader, brighter blossoms.
Revolution in the 1700s, the South prohibited the formation of black churches. But among the Negroes in the North, religious groups were being formed. One of them was founded by the Reverend Richard Allen, who was tired of being neglected by the white Methodist Episcopal churches. So he founded the African Methodist denomination. Bethel AME was the movement's first meeting house church in Philadelphia.